Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. It's Worldtober for me. I hope you're enjoying whatever October drawing challenge you've chosen. Sit down and crack open your sketchbook and let's draw for a few minutes. I've chosen to kind of take it easy this month, and I'm going to do the prompt list, but I'm going to do what I can, and I'm not going to stress too much about hitting every single one. I do have a few other obligations outside of my art career that keep me from being able to dedicate a full-time effort. The first drawing today is going to be of day number 4's Fantasy Beast. And I actually wrote a little bit of fluff text to go with it. Day 4, Fantasy Beasts. The pygmy wool charger lives at the edge of the blood forest, just barely out of reach of the decaying forces of this world. They graze in a carefree manner, often strong enough to ward off would-be predators with their powerful horns. So I feel a little bit like I cheated, if I'm being honest with you. It's a tiny woolly rhino, but we don't have them anymore in our world, and they were much bigger than I'm intending them to be in this world in ours. So there's a little bit of fantasy. They're a little smaller. They're still this sturdy, kind of powerful but docile beast, and I love the idea that our character Cinnabar actually uses one of them to pull her like wagon, cart around as she travels, you know? Maybe she's not using a horse or an ox, she's using like a whole rhino, and that's kind of cool. They also just they make me happy. They look like you could pet them, and if they know you're there, they wouldn't freak out and chill. Like they'd just be like, oh cool, I'm getting pet and I get to eat this grass. Dope. I was gonna do like a tiny herd of them, but you know, and trying to do most of these in one sitting, you kind of pick and choose your battles. I was like, well, you know what? We'll do a little baby one right next to like a mom or a dad. I think I did intend for this one to be the dad. I was gonna draw the mom behind them, but it was getting late and I was getting winded, and I was like, well, mom's off screen. She's just not here. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one, and my friends really seem to like these guys too, so I'm pretty happy I did it. And I do think this one still hits the, if I pulled like a card from a card game, I'd be pretty stoked to get one of these. Alright, the next one was actually kind of tough. This one is day 16. I jumped forward because I was really lagging behind, and it was like the middle of the month. I kind of wanted to get caught up and like set more of a tone for the world. So day 16 was Deity. And I kind of leaned into this whole backstory. The whole reason this world is the way that it is because like a great like nature spirit. Basically, if you mix together the Great Deku Tree and Treebeard, like this just colossal treant was watching over this forest, and he was actually slain by an incoming conquesting force in the name of some holy order's conquest. This is the angel that was summoned down to defeat that treant. And she's kind of living now in a giant cathedral that was built on top of the treant's rotting body, because it's huge. It's like a titan. So you can build an entire village on top of it and keep going. I do have a bit of fluff text for this one too. Day 16, Deity. Saint Aurelia of Clementine, the Arbiter of Mercy. The Holy Protector, worshipped by the Holy Order, she now lives in the great cathedral built upon the elder treant she defeated so long ago. The architecture digging deep into its decaying corpse as she feeds off its tethered soul. Mortally wounded and cut from her absent god, she falls to her following for support. She acts as a beacon of faith to the people of this world, but secretly she hungers as her power wanes. Demanding sacrifice from the faithful to keep her powers from fading completely, the Order has agreed to send offerings once a decade. And then a decade became a year. And then a year became a month. And now, who knows how frequently unwitting sacrifices will need to be sent to her cathedral. So I definitely want this to be a world where um, there's a constant sense of diminishing returns. Nothing is ever worth what it costs. And even when you think something is trustworthy, it very well might not be. I wanted to take something that takes advantage of the um, well intentions or like the hopes of people and takes advantage. This was a really fun piece to do. I got to lean into some like gothic horror with it, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I played around with a lot of new things I don't usually do as an artist, so I'm pretty happy with it. It sets a tone for this world that I really wanted to anchor in there. So if nothing else, I'm happy it did that. All right, part three. And this again is a bit of a jump forward. This is day 23, Scarecrow. So, with the Scarecrow, really, I just love Scarecrows, guys. They're one of my favorite monsters. I know that's like a really weird pull, but I think they're great low-level enemies in D&D. I try to utilize them as much as I can in my own worlds and storytelling and things like that. I really wanted to just have a spooky imagery. I wanted to play around with like atmosphere in this one and really establishing like kind of a sense of foreboding. So I wanted you to be looking into the woods from the outside and kind of catch like figures in the darkness. Like they're kind of in there waiting for you. Now I was gonna do a whole bunch of uh, scarecrows hiding in the trees, but it turns out I'm really not super adverse at painting trees in this style that I'm currently doing, which is like more traditional painterly kind of deal. And I was really trying to limit how many different brushes I was using as well. I really wanted to get textural with it. So I'm only now just getting to draw uh, Scarecrow here. And it's a pretty straightforward design. I really left as many details out as I could, but he's just a skinny, lanky guy. And let me read what I had here real fast. It's said that there is a wanderer in the woods, and any who come close feel an overwhelming sense of remorse. So I wanted my scarecrows to kind of feed off of whatever emotion it is you most pour into them. If you're afraid of them, they'll exude fear. If you're kind to them, they'll exude sweetness. So they're really shaped by how they're raised. And yeah, I had a ton of fun. I hope to see you guys soon. Thanks so much. Like and subscribe if you really enjoy the Blood Forest of Worldtober 2024. Bye.